Support for the Marketing Smarts podcast comes from GoToWebinar, providing today's marketers with the next generation in webinars. Learn more at gotowebinar.com/marketingprofs.
Tips from business authors and experts known around the world.
Also, Ann Hamley.
Ways to improve your community's marketing, starting now.
Starting now.
Starting now.
Right here on the Marketing Smarts podcast.
Welcome back to Marketing Smarts, a podcast brought to you by MarketingProfs. I'm here today with Jimmy Charles, country music artist in Nashville. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful.
Welcome to my home.
Thank you. Yes, we're at his home. Isn't it very gracious? Originally, you're from Ocean City, Maryland.
Grew up, if anybody hasn't been to Maryland, Ocean City it's got bays and of course ocean. It's a party town in the summertime, and then during the winter, you can fish and hunt and do all kinds of stuff. So it's got a kind of best of both worlds there.
But when you want to be a musician, you go to Music City.
Absolutely, Nashville. If you're going to be a country, we've got a lot of different kinds of music here, but definitely country music is king in Nashville.
You auditioned for Nashville Star. I can't remember what year that was. Maybe you can tell me. But with 40,000 people and made the top 50. So would you say that was sort of the start of your career, or did it start before that and you just used it to get a little bit further?
I remember that day making it through all those different rounds and then continuing on in front of all those people. And it was just such an exhilarating, exciting experience. And it really made me believe in myself. Like, I watched all these musicians and me go for it, and I saw the look in the producer's eyes and the things like that. And I saw how close that I came to, Miranda Lambert was top 3, and look at her career. Chris Young, his career was sparked by Nashville Star. So it just excited me, and I started to believe in myself. I said, wow, this is something that I'm so passionate about, but I never really believed that I could make it my living. But now, I do, and I've made it. I was so proud to have made it that far.
And after that, American Idol.
After that, American Idol, we came. I'd already moved to Nashville at that point, and about a year later, I tried out for American Idol, and I was whisked off to Hollywood in season 9 in 2010.
So it's hard nowadays, you would think, to launch a career in entertainment because there are so many more places you can put your music. But for that reason, a lot of other people are also putting their music out there, so there just seems to be a lot of competition. How have you managed to stake a claim for yourself?
Well, the game's definitely changing. It's constantly changing. Everything's going to streaming nowadays. So it's not even, it was downloads at first, and now it's streaming, and it's the Spotify and the Apple Music and the Pandora and things like that, and there's playlists. And so as I'm getting ready to release my next album, we're coming into it with a different approach, which is more streaming instead of everybody downloading. Apple is getting rid of iTunes. They're pushing it out the door. They're pushing everybody to Apple Music. If you actually go to purchase a download, it'll push you to Apple Music. So that's where we're going, and it's created, it's great in one aspect. It's the ability for everyone to put their music out there and be discovered, but it also floods the market. And there's so much music out there now that sometimes it's hard to find out who's serious and who's just kind of, what I mean? So it's got that, but you've got to, the bottom line is you have to step above the rest, and you've got to continue to work hard because you have so much competition behind you every day.
How do you make a personal connection with your fans? Because that's really what's going to help you elevate your career.
Staying in touch with your fans is extremely important. Use social media. I can't tell you how many hours a day that I'm online, promoting my events and also communicating with my fan base, and not only letting them know what's to come and what we're doing and what's next, but communicating with them and keeping that relationship, because without them you don't have a career, you know what I mean? So it's super important, and you hope for to get on some great playlists and to get your music out there and get it shared so other people can discover it.
You're making a really good point. I know a lot of artists are on social media, but they use it only as a broadcast tool. You actually engage with fans. So talk about that and how people can take a more personal approach to their relationship.
It's really, really difficult because especially, I have so many shows a week and I'm traveling. You have to promote those shows. So I hate to constantly be like, especially if someone's in Maryland, let's say, and I'm going to be in California. Why do they care about, that I'm playing in California? It doesn't really, but you have to put it out there. But you also have to make sure that you're making time to communicate with if someone comments on you, on it, you talk back to them, and because that's what your whole career is them. So you've got to balance between your personal things and your promotional things, and then keep an engagement, keep your audience engaged. Because if they start feeling as though, oh, I'm just a number, I'm just this, that, and they don't feel important, they may stray away from you and not come to your shows and not pay attention to your social media anymore. So
I'd heard that country music artists were more polite, so it makes sense that you would answer people more.
Yeah, some would say, yeah.
Share your passion, creativity, and brilliance with the all-new GoToWebinar. GoToWebinar is making it easier than ever to build stronger connections and reach more people faster. Start sharing your story today. Learn more at gotowebinar.com/marketingprofs. Let's talk about giving back to the community, because you've done so much. Since 2014, you've been a spokesman for Zero, the End of Prostate Cancer.
Yes.
And you even wrote their anthem, the Superman
Yes.
song, which is a beautiful song. Tell me
Thank
about when
you.
you decided to get involved.
I have volunteered throughout my career in a lot of different organizations. I was volunteering with Zero about 4 years ago, and I was going to help them with one of their big walk runs in Baltimore. That hosts about 5,000 people every year. They raise $500,000 or more every year for prostate cancer research, awareness, and education. And they wanted me to help promote it and come perform. And I said, great, let's do it. And then they called me back 2 weeks later and said, would you be interested in writing a song that will bring awareness for men to get checked for prostate cancer? And you can imagine, as an artist, I'm trying to think, what kind of songs, the things that are going through my mind, what's involved with a prostate cancer exam. But I took a step back and I did some research, and I found a guy who was a mentor at the Chesapeake Urology. His name's Phil Sholka. I brought him into Nashville. I teamed up with my buddy Goose Gossett, a great writer in Nashville, and we sat down with him in a writer's room right on Music Row, listened to his story. I said, tell me what it's like to get that news. What is it like to find out that you have cancer? And he just talked for 45 minutes, and we took notes, and we came out with a song that really connects and tells the story of a survivor. And the idea, if you guys see that video, the video was on CMT and GAC, so it reached out to millions of people with this great awareness. Men do not like to get checked for anything, let alone prostate cancer. A lot of them don't understand, but that you can tell a lot just from a simple blood test, which is a PSA level test. It can tell you a lot about the activity of your prostate without the full exam. If that's bad, then you need to go and get what everybody dreads. But just letting them know that you're not Superman. As especially for men, we're told as a young child, to we're dressing up in superhero costumes, and we got to be strong. We don't cry, and we don't get sick, right? If you don't feel, and prostate cancer does not have any symptoms, so it can be inside your prostate. What you want to do is catch it before it spreads out and becomes, into your bones or different parts of your body. So you're not Superman, get checked. And if you are, a lot of these men, all of a sudden they get it and they feel like they have to battle this themselves, and they have to be Superman. They don't want other people to bear, their cross and to have to go through what they go through. So they end up doing a lot of it on their own. So that's another big message, is that if you are diagnosed, that there's others there for you. So that's how Superman began. And,
I love the song
4 years
because it
later,
doesn't focus
still
so
goes.
much on the disease. It focuses on the people and their triumph over the disease.
Right. It doesn't even say the word prostate cancer, in the song. So so many people have found themselves in the song, even breast cancer survivors and things like that, because it's the emotions that they go through if you get this type of news and suddenly you're in a battle for your life. So it's been absolutely amazing, and continues to get better and better.
And you're starting your own nonprofit.
I did. I have my full 501c3 nonprofit. I've teamed up actually with Zero as well. And Zero Cancer is, it's just prostate cancer. This is for all types of cancers. What I've learned in my journey, going to these walks and runs and communicating with with these survivors, a lot of them hold a lot of stuff inside. So, as we continue to spend money up for research, as we continue to bring awareness for education to help save lives, this particular, what I'm doing is reaching out to the survivor themselves and making sure, hey, while all that's going on, we got to make sure that you're strong internally, because it's not just a physical battle when they're getting the chemotherapies or the Lupron shots or the radiation or whatever they might be going through. You've got to be strong inside as well as just the emotionally, not just physically. So we're focusing on that. An amazing story. We started just another example of someone reaching out to me. Someone's daughter that lives in Governor, New York. I'd never met them before. They hadn't been to one of my shows, but they'd seen Superman. Superman had been a big part of their battle. Stage 4 prostate cancer survivor, but he was getting a lot of the Lupron shots, which is actually female injecting female hormones into the male body, which is a lot to go through. With a lot of other treatments that he had to go through, and he basically said, I'm done with my treatments, I'm giving up, and he was depressed. His daughter reached out to me, asked me where I'd be performing. Long story short, I ended up putting on a special concert just for him, and we surprised him in his hometown, and there were so many people. The whole town came. It was a very small town, right, almost Canada. I was like, am I in Canada yet? I mean, and it was amazing because, But I said, I'm only coming up there on one condition, that you sign a contract. So on a cardboard box cut out, we just wrote that, I, Mark Smith, promised my friends and family to never, ever give up the fight. And he read that over the microphone during the, after Superman, and the whole place just erupted. There were tears everywhere. I'm starting to get chills just thinking about the energy that was in that room. And since then, it has completely changed his life. And, he went from barely smiling to going skydiving, a few weeks ago. Yeah, and now I see him in the promos for the Zero Cancer runs, because he's been to like 3 of them with me, and, we have big groups. And I said, how can we do this for everyone? And that's kind of how I Am Not Alone really began, and then I backtracked with all my other experiences, and we took that contract idea and we created a new contract. That's not on a cardboard box. It's a little bit prettier. We'll have to grab the big one downstairs later. But and now people are signing it. They do a challenge and they create their own moment with their loved ones. I know one guy, Billy, he took his and he has signed it with his caregiver, and then he took it to his nurses and his doctors and said, hey, just want to let you know I signed this, and he got a picture with them. He's like, I want to thank you for everything you did. Then he knocked on his one friend's door who was with him for everywhere. So this little piece of paper is creating these amazing moments of hope, love, and strength, that is helping people get their minds off the fact that they've got to, go in for radiation treatments, and what is that going to do to me now? They're focused on the love and the people that are around them and loving life. So then they challenge someone else to do it, and then they challenge someone else to do it, and we make donations. We're creating a music video. I wrote another song called I Am Not Alone, and actually this Saturday we're going to be shutting down the pedestrian bridge and bringing survivors and their families and their supporters, and we're all going to march, and we're going to have drones, and we're going to sing the chorus to the new I Am Not Alone song, and it's going to be a pretty special moment. So yeah, I think that's it. That's a lot, I know.
So is one of your success metrics then how many people you've made to cry? Because by now it's probably in the thousands.
Yes. Superman has definitely made a lot of people cry over the years, but you know what? Crying is a good thing because it's inside and it's coming out, and people need that release. And it's a very true story. And I think after that's done, they feel a lot of strength afterwards. But it has been extremely difficult, especially in the beginning. When I go to these walks and runs all across the country, and I go to about 10 Zero Cancer walk runs, and I sing right to these survivors who are battling for their lives, and I sing them their story, and I watch them tear up, and I watch them go through their battle as we go through the song. And, at first you want to make eye contact, but you also have to be able to get through the song because you can't cry and sing at the same time. So, I would have to look up a lot and look away and and keep moving around, because if you focus too much, I would lose it. But I Am Not Alone is it recognizes the disease, and it recognizes, but it's an empowering song. So that's really what I wanted to come from Superman, which really tells the story and is a deep, great song. But I Am Not Alone is more of an anthem and just a more of an upbeat song that I think both of them together are gonna serve a great purpose.
How important is it for artists to give back?
I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what music does, you know. But one of the first songs I wrote was called "The Light of Music," and that's what really made me get into music. Was I wrote a song for a friend of mine's brother who passed away, sang at this big memorial service. It was one of the first times I had gotten up to sing in front of everybody. I was extremely nervous. It was just me and my guitar and a song that I'd written, and I had not sang any of my songs that I've ever written before. But I just watched it, and it was an amazing thing how I could just see their hearts through their eyes, and it made me feel good. And I fell in love with that feeling. And when I left for Nashville, you know, the first thing I prayed for was not for a CMA award or sell out, you know, stadiums. I want to do those things, absolutely. It was to do great things in the world and to give back. And, you know, I was able to find that with Superman, to have a song that I wrote be able to do that. So it's pretty special, and I've fallen in love with it, and we're getting ready to go on another chapter of doing the same thing. So
What advice do you have for other up and coming aspiring musicians?
You know, stay true to yourself. I think the most important thing is really finding yourself in music, because it's going to change. Always keep getting better. You know what I mean? If you look at the album that I'm getting ready to release right now, and you were listening to my other album, you could see, you know, one of my friends who is musical also, he was like, I see the maturity. I see where you came from, you know, and at that time I thought that was great. And then, you know, but as you continue to get better, you're like, you know what? It's not good enough. It needs to be better. And then, you know, realize that music is not for you, it's for everyone else. You know, you are the person that's able to give music to other people, and that's called a gift. And what do you do with gifts? Well, you give them to people. So you know, it's real important to do that, and to stay true to yourself, and to find your voice. And then you got to find out whether, you know, you want to do this for a living or you want to do it for fun, because there's a big difference. And if you want to do it for a living, it's going to be a lot of hard work, and I would not discourage anyone from that, but it's a lot of hard work, you know. It's going to be more than just your grandma telling you that you're great. You've got to get out there, hit the road. You've got to write songs, hundreds of songs every day. You got to play a bunch of shows for free. But, you know, if you keep at it and you stay true to yourself and keep getting better, you're going to be successful.
Where can people learn more about you? Where can they get some of your music? Where can they see you play?
The best thing to do is just to get on my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. JimmyCharlesMusic.com is my website, and I would love to see you guys and meet your fans out there.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
Thanks so much for talking with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hello.
This is Hank. And
Hi,
he's
Hank.
a big star too. So Hank has been on many TV shows and many radio, especially when he was a puppy. Everybody loved him, and he travels with us quite a bit. He's basically the Zero Cancer mascot. So
What kind of dog
he's
is he?
good.
I've never heard a dog make that noise.
yeah, you would think he's a little piggy, but he's an English bulldog. He's a brindle, and he snores and snorts.
Let's not point any fingers. I'm
Yeah.
sure we all have warts.
He
Well, thank-
farts a lot.
We're
what bulldogs
outside,
do.
so that's okay.
Right?
It's a good dog.